Ever notice how it's easy to feel confident until it depends on someone else? Maybe you're solid all day, and then all of a sudden your partner seems kind of distant, and suddenly you start doubting everything. That drop from grounded to feeling anxious in the moment, that's your body saying, my safety depends on my partner. And what often comes from this feeling of my safety depends on my partner is this need for external validation from your partner in order to feel okay. I see this all the time in the couples that I work with. One partner feels insecure and unhappy in the relationship, worried that their partner might be mad at them about something, or they feel that sense of disconnection and that feels unsafe. And so they begin to ask and push for constant reassurance from their partner. And the partner who's asking for constant reassurance is outsourcing their regulation to their partner. Instead of being able to say, I'm okay, even if my partner seems a little bit distant right now, or we're okay, even if my partner might be moody or having a bad day, they are outsourcing their sense of safety to their partner and asking for reassurance from their partner or validation in order to feel all right. So what I want to talk about in today's video is not becoming detached from your partner or pretending that you don't care what they think. I want to talk about how you can train your body and your mind to hold a steady sense of self-worth and self-confidence, even when external reassurance from your partner wavers a little bit, because there are going to be times when your partner is not able to give you reassurance in that moment, and that's okay. You need to be able to be differentiated enough to be okay and be secure in yourself, even when your partner is not able to give you reassurance in that moment. So we're doing it this way because confidence isn't a mindset. It's really more of a physiological state. When your nervous system feels unsafe, your brain looks outward for cues of safety. You begin scanning the room for approval, praise, eye contact from your partner, something that tells you that you're okay in that moment, that you are worthy. And if those cues are missing, which sometimes they're going to be, because your partner's not going to be attuned to you 110% of the time, insecurity can then flood in. So the goal here is to learn how to calm your nervous system from within so that you create your own sense of safety. And it's about rewiring your internal dialogue so that you can begin to build self-trust by default. If you're new here, my name is Wes. I'm a therapist, and this channel is devoted to helping you improve and heal your relationships, one step at a time. Where does this craving for validation come from? Well, of course, it comes from childhood. It's a form of insecure attachment. Insecure attachment, you know that the love that has been given to you is unconditional. You know that you can be a needy person, you can have issues, you can be imperfect and still be loved no matter what. In insecure attachment, you often grow up in a situation where you feel like love is conditional. Love is conditional on being a high performer, on being a perfectionist, on being a caretaker, on whatever kind of role you fell into in your family. The point is that love in your childhood felt inconsistent, and attention only came when you behaved or achieved, or maybe it came when you stayed small. But regardless, you learned that love must be earned in some way, shape, or form. You need to be distorting yourself, your true self, in order to feel worthy of your parents' love. Because of that, now in adulthood, this has turned into emotional dependency for you. So you wait for that text from your partner offering reassurance in order to exhale and feel okay in the moment. You measure your value by your partner's mood. If your partner's in a good mood, you feel great. If your partner's in a bad mood, you don't feel good about yourself or the relationship. And you equate this sense of reassurance from your partner with feeling safe. If you are waiting for your partner's reassurance all the time in order to feel connected to them, in order to feel safe in the relationship, that's not real intimacy. That's just you acting from this place of anxiety. So here is my 7-part process that I work with my clients on that will help you rebuild internal confidence and step away from needing your partner's validation all the time in order to feel okay. Step 1 is to notice your validation triggers. This is awareness training. It's learning your nervous system's language, okay? So when does my confidence change and what cues flip the switch? So notice concrete examples. When your partner is not paying attention to you and they're scrolling on their phone while you talk, and that leads to this immediate sense of deflation. Like, here we go again. They're not paying attention to me. And that next thought is around your own self-worth. Like, I suck. I am not an interesting person. Pay attention to that. Okay. I want to understand what those triggers are. And I want you to spend a week just documenting this, just trying to pay attention every day to what those triggers are for your confidence, either going up or going down. Your partner sounded distracted when you talked to them on the phone, and you start to replay every word that they said in your mind, thinking that they don't care about you, that they're upset about something, that you've done something wrong, right? you want to write that down. So once you're documenting those things in the moment, I want you to pause and begin to name the pattern that you get into in those moments too. You can say, oh, I'm noticing that my body just shifted. My heart is speeding up. I'm realizing that I really want some reassurance right now. Okay. Pay attention to that and then write it down. The reason why this matters too is that by labeling a thought and understanding what your validation triggers are, this breaks the automaticity of it. Dr. Dan Siegel calls it name it to tame it, which is basically the idea that if you can name something that is happening automatically in your mind, that simple act of mindfulness will actually bring down the intensity of it and gives you more control over it long term. So that's what we're working on here. We're moving from an unconscious reaction to more of a conscious choice just by paying attention to it. Step 2 is to decode the nervous system's interpretation here. So your nervous system isn't rational, it's relational. It works in relation to other people. And it interprets context through body cues and facial expressions and things like that instead of logic. So you might feel unsafe because of something that's happening. For example, your partner walks away from you mid-conversation. Your prefrontal cortex knows that they're probably just grabbing water. Like that's the thinky part of your brain. But the more ancient, more visceral part of your brain that reacts before it thinks, the limbic system, probably thinks something like, I'm being abandoned in this moment, right? So your heart rate begins to rise, your muscles tighten, your breath shortens, you feel anxious in that moment. So the goal here is not just to begin to catch those validation triggers or the triggers that require you to then seek validation from your partner, but it's also to notice the pattern that happens in your body too. So if you can catch the bodily signal, which would be something like your shoulders tensing or your stomach dropping, I want you to begin to say internally, again, naming it to tame it, this is my threat response. It is not proof of rejection in this moment. And then you take one long, deep breath and you feel your feet on the floor. The goal here is that you are trying to pay attention to what's happening, that feeling of lack of safety, and you're trying to ground yourself in the moment to feel more safe. Again, we're retraining our body. This can take a lot of time, but it's a long-term practice. It's a lifelong practice with your partner to feel more secure in yourself. So start by paying attention to it, noticing it, and then trying to breathe through it in the moment. Step 3 is that I want you to try to work on building an internal praise practice. Okay, so at night, try to focus on recalling 3 small wins from the day that align with your values. The goal here is process, not outcomes. Only things that you've accomplished. You want to think about things that you are working on that went well. Okay, so here's an example. I stayed really calm during that conflict with my partner. Or, hey, I spoke up and gave myself permission to speak truthfully, even though it was really scary in the moment. I didn't avoid that conflict. The goal here is to praise yourself. So when you feel the positivity, when you're celebrating yourself and you're praising yourself in these moments, take 10 seconds and hold on to that memory. Feel the pride in your chest. Feel it lingering in your body. Dr. Rick Hanson's research around positive neuroplasticity shows that the more you can linger on those positive experiences, the more you can pay attention to them, sit with them, let them soak in, this will help encode it into your long-term memory. It literally thickens the neural networks of self-trust. Step 4 is to begin to integrate self-compassion exercises. Self-compassion is something that's really hard for people to do, but it's so important. And really is at the basis of being able to change your behavior or your thoughts about yourself. And when it comes to self-esteem, this is really important. Dr. Kristen Neff's work shows that self-compassion reduces cortisol and increases emotional resilience. So when the shame voice appears, something that says something like, you're too needy right now, try to respond kindly. The goal here is to catch that little inner critic voice that is telling you how bad you are and combat that voice with self-compassion. So instead of you're too needy, this could sound like, this is a moment of insecurity, but I'm doing okay and I'm trying really hard here. Step 5 is to reprogram your subconscious beliefs. So these are your core beliefs that are at the heart of your need for validation from your partner. Belief might entail, I'm only lovable when my partner gives me their approval. And the thing is that these core beliefs are things that have been stored emotionally in your psyche since childhood. So the goal here is to work on rewriting them over time. You do this by doing all the things that we've worked on already, regulating yourself first, taking big, deep breaths in, and then trying to pair that negative emotion with a positive one. Something that has evidence to it. Something like, I am okay, I am still worthy, even when my partner's not seeing me in this moment. By pairing that negative moment with a positive counterexample, you're literally building evidence in your mind and in your body that is counter to the belief that you've been holding about yourself for so long. The more you can do that, repeat it daily by visualizing events that support this kind of counter evidence, the more you begin to slowly change that core belief over time. Step 6 is to create interdependent agreements with your partner. I talk about agreements all the time in relationships. Confidence thrives in moments of clarity. So research from Dr. Stan Tatkin shows that secure couples will co-design safety in their relationship. They have agreements that they both stick to, and that helps them feel safer. So you can come up with an agreement with your partner that says something like, if one of us needs reassurance, we will ask directly instead of just hinting at it. Or when either of us feels triggered by the other, we will pause before assuming the worst about what's going on or attributing meaning to it that is negative towards ourselves. Okay. By coming up with agreements like this, you can protect yourselves a little bit from this anxiety because there's more clarity in the relationship. And finally, step 7 is to redefine confidence for you in your relationship. Confidence is not about certainty. It's about the ability to return to center after you wobble a little bit. It's okay to feel insecure sometimes. Everybody does. But the goal is to have a unshakable core, something that you can return back to. It looks like taking a big deep breath before replying to your partner. It looks like holding your sense of self-respect when you feel misunderstood. It means letting praise about you land without feeling dependent on your partner. And it means repairing mistakes with your partner without attacking yourself and beating yourself down in the moment. Confidence isn't really about being untouchable. It's about staying connected, first to yourself and then to your partner. The thing is, you can't think your way into confidence. I wish it was that easy, but you can train your way into it. And the way you do this is every time you notice your triggers, you regulate before you react. You validate yourself from within. You find moments of positivity that you are proud of, that you can sit with and ingrain in your body through integrated practices. And you teach your body and your mind, I can handle this. This way, your confidence doesn't depend on reassurance from your partner. It depends on your own act of repetition, drilling it into your body again and again. And over time, this creates love that feels freer. You're not so dependent on your partner all the time. You're able to act as your independent self with a separate identity, but from that place, you're able to love your partner more deeply because you're not as tied and dependent on them for your own sense of self-worth. If this video is helpful to you at all, please like it and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. And if this connected with you, keep an eye out for my next video, which is going to be about what to do when you don't feel good enough for your partner. Thank you.